welcome to Magnathea Builder Worlds, or should I say Happy Christmas and welcome to Magnathea Builder Worlds. I don't know if I'm going to get this build done by Christmas and out for Christmas. Today actually is the 22nd of December, so I am going to be cutting it pretty fine. But I thought instead of doing a scenery build, which I've got loads lined up, and we are just a couple of days away from me announcing who has won the Patreon competition for the next bit of scenery that I build for a patron, I thought I'd build something else this time round. My most watched video on Magnathea Builder World since I started is not a Necromunda video. No, and it's not a Burrows and Badgers video. It was a Book Nook I made for a friend of mine, a guy called Jim Evans, who runs a reenactment and LARPing shop at markets and LARPs and that kind of thing, called The Wandering Shop. Wandering Store. I can't remember. It was ages ago. Anyway, more people have watched that video than anything else I've done. Book Nooks are a completely different audience. I hope you're going to watch. If you're a war gamer and a tabletop gamer and modeler. If not, then what are you talking about? Of course you will, because you're, you know, big fans of the channel. If you're new to this channel and you're finding it because this is a Book Nook build, then welcome. Now, this is what I do. Every now and then I build a Book Nook. I've got actually loads lined up. I really need to get on with them. So to people who are expecting them, if they're watching this, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry to my mate Dickon. Sorry buddy, I haven't done your sharp one yet. I haven't finished the one that I'm doing for Cowley's Fine Foods. Check them out, they're ace. But actually this one I want to do as a kind of Christmassy present for my wife. For those of you who don't know, not only am I into tabletop wargaming and making models and stuff, I'm also a cosplayer. One of my very favourite cosplays is Krampus. I am Krampus UK. Check it out. My wife and I have been in the Krampus for a good number of years. She is actually the Dark Elf in that picture. She makes all my costumes, and I thought I would make a Krampus Book Nook to go in our new nerd room that we've been building, or we've had built this year. This is the Krampus figure that I've nearly finished painting. It's about 5 inches tall. I've 3D printed this. I made this on Hero Forge. It's come out quite nicely as a print. Very pleased with it. A bit more painting to do, but I want to put this in a Book Nook. So this video is going to be a very, very quick Christmassy, Krampusy Book Nook build. Stick with me. If you'd like to see more Book Nook builds, then make sure you make a comment down below when you've watched this video. Give it a like and a subscribe and come back. If you'd like to see more Book Nooks being built, or if you'd like me to build you a Book Nook, then maybe what you need to do is join my Patreon at patreon.com Magnathea Builder Worlds, and then that way there you can enter a competition 3 times a year to see if I will build a piece of scenery for you. And if Book Nooks are your thing, then that might be the thing that I end up building. Anyway, we're going to get on with this build. So I've got the figure, and now all I need to do is build the Book Nook. There are going to be particular challenges with this, apart from anything else. It's going to be snowy, and modelling with snow is an absolute nightmare, so we're going to have to see how we go. I am going to use, he says, leaning over here, a pre-cut, laser cut MDF Book Nook. I had a whole bunch of these made for me by a friend of mine who is a CDT teacher who's got access to that kind of thing. So the actual box is going to be pretty simple. Then I'm going to make a foam core insert to go inside it, which is going to have various styrene landscaping in it. I'm going to use, what else have we got? Snoo, neige. Oh, that way round. Snoo, neige, snow, schnee. This is because it's Christmas and you can get hold of it really easily. I've got some Limax fir trees that will actually, I reckon, going to go in there quite nicely. I've got a couple of some other fir trees around as well, and I'm also going to light it with some LEDs, a couple of blue LEDs that I'm going to put in there, and I'm going to work all that out. So I'm going to see if I can make this whole thing work. First thing I need to do, I have no idea what the first thing I need to do. The first thing I need to do actually is get one of these wooden book boxes already. I've got one sitting around, and work out how the insides are going to go into it. So let's do that. I'm going to need to clear this desk and get one of those out. Right, I'm never going to do this. This is madness, and it's also bloody freezing in the workshop this evening. If you can hear in the background, there's a fan going. That's an air heater because it's quite cold out in the workshop tonight. I was going to do this inside the house, but A, it's a surprise for my wife. Shh, don't tell her. And B, the lighting in there is terrible, so we're going to have to work out here. It's jolly cold. So where was I? Clearing the decks. See you in a minute. Right then, so this is one of these laser cut MDF Book Nook boxes. I think this one's mostly stuck together actually, although it's kind of held together with masking tape in some places. And this is going to give me enough of an idea to work out what's going on here. They deliberately designed these ones not to have a back. I'm going to end up with a foam core back in there. And what I really need to do is work out how I'm going to make this whole thing work. Krampus is going to stand in there quite nicely, I think. I hope you can see that. Yeah, and he's going to need some kind of scenery to stand on, trees behind him, that kind of thing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the inside of the box. In fact, what I might do first of all, the inside of the box needs painting. I need to stick the box together. I'm going to build a foam core base to go in here. A couple of reasons. That's going to actually enable me to have the battery pack for the lights under there, which will be accessible. And Krampus is going to stand in the front there, lit with blue lights, and we'll have trees behind him. This shouldn't be a complicated build, he said. Okay, let's see what we can do. Right, one of the first missions is to make a base that's going in the bottom of the Book Nook. What I'm doing here is making it so I'm going to be able to put the battery pack underneath the base of the floor, which will have a cut-out piece that I can access to get the battery pack out, change the batteries, and turn the thing on and off. And I'm going to achieve that by actually having a big piece of slate stuck on the top of it, which will act as a kind of like handle. I can lift it off. So I'm just measuring up, and then I'm going to draw on the size of the actual battery pack. Now this is a Max battery pack. It's a cheating way of doing it, but I don't expect it to be on very often. You can actually take a plug adapter, but I'm not setting this up to have a plug adapter. It's being set up just to run on 3 AA batteries. So that is going to be that's where the power unit is going to go. So I'm going to want walls down this side and down this side to contain it and support the front, and then we're going to cut out a doorway and have bits underneath it to support that as well. That didn't make any sense at all. You'll see what I mean when I get to it. Then this has got to have more legs here, here and here to support it and lift it up. The 3 centimetres it needs to be up to sit at the lip like that, which I've already cut out 3 centimetre strips of foam core. So I'm going to stick them on as soon as I've worked out this bit, cut it out. Right, so I'm sticking the supports onto the base, and these I'm just using Yoo-hoo all-purpose solvent-based glue. Make sure you stick in a well ventilated area, kids, because of the smell, or if like me you like it, don't worry about it. This is going to hold these in place. You have to be fairly careful with foam core and solvent based glue, because it will of course melt some of the foam that separates the 2 bits of cardboard. But here we go. Now I do get asked about the materials that I use quite a lot, so very briefly, this is 5mm foam core or foam board in the UK. It's a polystyrene with cardboard on both sides. Interesting, a lot of foam builders I see like to get to the foam and peel off the cardboard, which never makes any sense to me at all. You might as well just buy 5mm XPS foam to do that. And the whole point of this polystyrene is the fact that the cardboard on either side gives it its structural integrity. Peel that off and you ruined it. So foam board, I buy this from Hobbycraft. Normally it's one of the only things I'll be interested in buying from Hobbycraft, because you can get, I can't remember, 3 sheets that must be A2, could even be A1, I think they're A2 sheets, and they're normally 3 sheets for 10 quid, so it's pretty affordable. I will also be using this model then, XPS foam. This is blue XPS foam. This stuff I've got here is 50mm thick, and I'll be using a heat wand of some description probably to cut that and shape that. We'll have to see. But yep, so far just MDF laser cut board and foam core that I'm using now. I'm sticking all the supports on so this thing will stand up where I want it to in the box. Now the other thing I've got to be careful with, of course, is I'll have to be careful about where my power cables are going to come out. This has got loads and loads of wire with it on the 2 blue lights, so I'm not necessarily going to use. Probably going to have the power running to the back of the model and blue lights at the back of the model lighting Krampus from behind. So what I think I'm going to do there is I'll probably cut a channel out of each of these to be able to run the cable along to the back of the model. This base doesn't go all the way to the back of the model anyway, so from that point of view, so that's going to sit whoop, inside there like that. There we go. Then the light box set is going to sit inside there, and then all I need to do is find a way of supporting this on either side, so that's going to sit in there, and this bit is going to have a piece of slate stuck to it when I do all the texturing, so I can lift or rock of some description, so I can lift it out easily and get to the light box underneath real easy. And to aid me doing that, I'm probably going to chamfer down these edges a little bit so they fit in and out of the hole nice and easy, but tight enough so it works. Okay, so I'm waiting for all the glue to go off. All of this is just being dry fitted at the minute. I'm waiting for the glue to dry on the base. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to start cutting up this XPS foam. Hot rod. I'm not a user of Proxon cutters, I don't have a Proxon cutter, but this is so I could sit and sculpt anyway, so from that point of view I'm going to cut this bit long enough so it fits into inside here. I mean, I've got to work out things. I'm just literally making this up as I'm going along at the moment. I'll wait for this rod to warm up. Well, there it goes. I've already marked on here roughly how wide this is going to be. Usually I would put foam core on either side on a foam core roof, but I don't think I'm going to bother with this model. I'm only going to make the base. Everything else I'm just going to end up painting black. Of course, apart from anything else, this is not the box that's going into. I haven't actually stuck the box together, but I'm just trying to work out how all these things are going to work before I start making things permanent. So cut through there, put that to one side a minute, turn off the heat. So yeah, this is very much a case of dry fitting things into the box. Now this is where the battery pack's sitting, so I'm going to have to sculpt this down a bit, and I'm going to have another bit I think I'm going to make, if I can, it's going to go in the back. I will probably make a back piece to this. Sensible thing to do actually would be to get a bit of XPS foam the next size. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut another bit the right thickness to go in there. See how that works. I'm doing this this is a rush job, so I'm not agonising over the measurements for this, especially as by the time I go like this with a heat wand it's gonna melt it away anyway. So heat that up, It's not even going to be square, look. Oh no. Draw that down there. Heat one not really hot enough yet. Yeah, this is probably where I could do with a wire, Proxon wire cutter. I'm sure there are XPS phone modelers watching this, cringing at me. But I haven't lashed out on one yet, and I don't really have the space for one, so from that point of view. Now my mission with these bits of polystyrene is twofold really. I need to have enough space for Krampus to stand on one bit, and then I've got to be able to put my trees on as well. So going in there, yeah, that's going to go in there, right? It doesn't matter if it's not tight at the back. Oh, we could. Okay, so this is the bit of styrene that I want Krampus to stand on, and I want to stand on this bit of the front, so I'm just drawing around here. I've decided what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have a rock face behind him, see where we can work out where we can put our pine trees. That might work quite well. I might have to chop the top off this pine tree, but that'll be fine. So pull that away. Oh, well, that's not bad. I don't do a lot of work with polystyrene, so I'm kind of making this up as I go along. So I'm hoping that people watching this are either getting ideas from themselves, might be ideas how not to do it, but in this case here, this is quite a useful tool. Doesn't matter if it's not all completely even, smooth, because I'm going to sand over this and I'm going to texture it and paint it, so not all bad at all. Very little of this, if any of it, is going to be visible. So from that point of view, what we need to do is make sure I've got a flat-ish surface for Krampus to stand on. Bring that up there and ping that out for the top of the polystyrene there. Whoa, there it comes. Bing! Okay, how about that? Is that any good for standing my fella on? Yeah, that's pretty cool, look. Okay, so tiny bit more sculpting around the back there, and that will then give me a flat enough surface to stand a figure on that I can work with. I'm going to carve down the front of this because that's just completely flat, and that doesn't work at all. Okay, so I've completely changed my mind. I've decided that as I'm going to have the back, well, it's going to be built in, but the back will be accessible, and it'll be easy to take this off a shelf to turn the light on. I'm just going to have the battery pack base at the back, so I can bring the model right forward, because otherwise you won't get to see it, which is the awkward bit. I'm also in two minds as to whether I'm going to use the blue light or not, which was my original plan. The problem with blue light is you might not get all the colour that I want from Krampus. Blue light could be quite cool, but white light could also be cool. I'll have to mess around with that. I'm going to see, but the lights are going to be one of the last things. Although the light might actually be from above, which could also be pretty neat. So I think I'm going to see how we go there. Lighting, I think, might end up being, lighting from above might be quite cool. There's loads of cable. I could actually mount the two lights up here, but it's whether I go with blue light or white light. That's if I've got a white light. I'll have to see. But bringing this forward means the whole model's going to sit in there nicely, which means I can put rock face in behind. I've got two fir trees in there. There's going to be loads of rock, loads of snow, loads of... Hopefully this is pretty quick. So from a dry fit point of view, we're doing really good. I I'm going to carve this bit of polystyrene now to go as backdrop behind him. Give me quite a lot of depth and might even give me another tree, the base of a tree up there, and we'll see how we go. So that's the next job. Like the last one, to be honest, I've got no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to carve into this polystyrene. You can see that the rod is really hot. Just got to get rid of this really nice smooth outer surface first of all, and then we're just going to cut in and try and make it look a bit more mountainsidey, really. I don't know. Again, I reckon there are probably other foam model workers now looking at going, oh no, you don't want to do it like that, or that's not the way I'd do it, or whatever. But hey, what the hell. Mine's a bit more haphazard. I haven't got the luxury of time on this model. What I've got to do is crack on with it. So I'm going to stop talking to you for a minute and just carve and see what happens. Okay, so now I've got 2 bits of polystyrene cut. And I'm going to slice the top off there. I've got 2 bits of polystyrene cut that now fit in and make most of my back wall, which is pretty good. And they'll end up getting stuck together. And then I've got this bit that's going to go in behind. Also XPS foam. Doesn't matter about the colour. This is 25mm thick. That's going to go all the way to the roof like that. And I've drawn on with a Sharpie where that bit of rock formation is, so I can carve in more rock formation. So Krampus then ends up standing in front of this whole kind of rock formation. He's going to have a couple of fir trees around him, and then the rest will be covered in snow and ice and that kind of thing. And some bits of slate and stuff. So next bit, carve that last bit of styrene, and that's all the dry fitting pretty much done. I'm going to see if I can find another tree maybe, or we'll just go for some scrub up there, but that's pretty cool. This tree is going to go in behind. I might take it off its base, the Lemax base it comes with, because it's a bit incongruous. But that's going to go up there somehow. This then, Krampus is get in there. Krampus is going to stand on the rock face, fir tree behind him. Javelins that in. Yeah, that's going to have to come off its base. And then this one down here, I think that's going to look pretty cool. Actually, loads of rock behind. Yeah, so we're going to carve that out. That's the next job. So I've now got 3 separate bits of polystyrene carved to make my rock face, which isn't bad. I'm going to end up with a tree still in this bit in front of that bit of rock face there. I'm going to have Krampus to be able to stand there like that, and then I'm going to have this fir tree stand in front of him too. So what I'm going to do tonight, the last part of this, before I can do anything else, is I need to stick all the polystyrene together so that it's all one piece, and then I can texture it tomorrow. So I'm going to wield my favourite glue for sticking this stuff together, which is Gorilla all-purpose adhesive, and I'm going to stick that on all the bits of polystyrene. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them, hold them all in place, and put them inside the box to get the box to hold it all in shape while I do it. So I'm also using a spare bit of 50 of the blue polystyrene down here to fill a gap as well, so that will stick there, and that's going to stick on there. I'm going to have the odd gap and bits and pieces I'm going to have to kind of like work around one way or another. In fact, there's some bits here that just aren't the right. Cut away some of that so it kind of fits. Doesn't matter too much about exact fit, because I can get around that with filler tomorrow and sand and gravel and stuff as well. The whole thing I need to be sealed with Mod Podge, but yeah, that way there, look. carve into that. I don't want too much blue overhanging the other bit of blue, but that'll do. So, glue then on this nice flat surface of the grate. Come on, Mr. Woodworking Glue. Sometimes it's a uses. Gorilla Glues are just absolutely brilliant. I really like them. My only concern is it's going to be not very warm in the workshop tonight for this all to go off. I can't take, normally I'd take it inside to dry things, but that ain't going to happen because my wife will then see what I'm building, so I don't really want to do that. I mean, I could just fess up and tell her what I'm up to, but it'll be quite nice to have it as a surprise. We'll have to see. So there is the first bit. Gonna stick that little blue fella in there, just like I said, as a spacer. It's a bit rough sticking up the bottom. There's so much knackered polystyrene sitting around now, it's ridiculous. I now have to decide whether that's going to be my last job before I go to bed, or whether I'm going to clear that up in the morning. Okay, so sticking a little blue fella on there. And then what I need is glue across here. And on the little blue fella. Like that. Smear that around. Spare bit of foam core. Smear that about. And I've got it all glued up from that point of view. Although the box that I'm going to hold it in isn't the box that the model's going to end up in. It's the same size. It should help hold the whole thing in the right shape while it glues. So take that, put that in the back of that, and there'll be some fiddling around with it when it's in the box to make sure it all works, and then leave it to dry. It's the plan. Come on. Shove it right to the front of the box here so I can get my hand in. Right, so stick, 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 stickity stick. Try not to get too much extra glue around the place. There we go. Yeah. Alrighty. Right, come back to that tomorrow. Okay, so this is the foam rock face. You can see it's pretty kind of rough at the moment, but I think it works fine. Krampus is going to stand on it nicely, and I'll get the odd tree in there. This tree is now cut. Fit up there all right. It needs, the base needs to be a bit adjusted, and of course this tree is going to stand down here. So that looks pretty cool. The next thing to do then is going to be to texture the whole thing and fill in any obvious and visible gaps where the two bits of blue styrene join for start, and the whole thing of course needs to be textured so I can paint it. So I'm just using home-based powder interior filler. Here we go. Actually, I don't know how old this is. I'm going to mix it up with water and a bunch of Mod Podge as well to help it stick and go off and help with the sealing side of things. So I'm going to give that a go. We're going to put it, I mean, that's just literally just a powder filler. I'll put a load in this plastic box. Under my workbench I have a large crate with all sorts of materials and stuff in. Some of them been there for some time, so I don't know if this stuff is any good on it or not now. So I've got some water here, which we're going to add, and I'm going to start to give this a stir. What I need to do now is find something to give it a stir with. Okay, I'll come back to you in a little while. Okay, I'm just going to paint this on. See what happens. I'll cover the whole model with my Mod Podge filler mix, and then obviously I'll have to let it go dry before I can do any other parts. I'm going to need to find a better brush than that. That's rubbish. Alright, I'm using an Artiscapade brush. I've used some of their brushes before and other things. I like Artiscapade brushes that I paint my models with. This is an Artiscapade scenery size kind of brush. It's the general kit. Quite a nice brush. Gonna need a load of cleaning after I've done this with it though, mind you. But nevertheless, brushing on, getting in all the crevices. Warmer in the workshop today, so it shouldn't take too long to dry. The Mod Podge, I'm hoping is going to add an extra layer. I was going to seal the polystyrene along with the filler, so I shouldn't have too much bother painting it. You always need to seal XPS foam if you're going to paint it, certainly with spray paints. You're doing anything with a solvent based kind of work, because it will melt the polystyrene. So fill the cracks at the back there. Not that they should matter too much, because it's not like they're going to be seen from the front of the model, but for my own satisfaction I'm filling that up. Okay, so the back section is done. Even when this is dry, I will probably end up putting another Mod Podge layer over the top to seal it or hold it all in place. Slot that on. You don't need to see the rest of this process, I'll come back to you when it's done. Okay, so this is 15:42 on the 23rd of December. I want to be giving this to my wife in 48 hours, and that's where we're at. So yeah, gonna let this dry off, let the plaster go off. A lot of this is then going to get covered with sand as well, sand and glue in places to give us that extra texture that I want. Then it's going to need painting. Right, in the meantime I need to assemble the box, which is a very straightforward box build, this one, so that's not too tricky. See how we go. Wish me luck. Okay, so the plaster's dried and I've now painted a whole load of Mod Podge all over it to seal it, and now all I'm doing is I'm scattering on a layer of coral sand mix. It's mostly coral sand, some larger bits of gravel in there as well. Coral sand, for those of you who don't know, is the stuff that you put on the bottom of bird cages. It's very fine, but it often has, I don't actually know if it's got coral, but sand made actually from coral. It often has small bits of shell and various other bits and pieces in it, so it gives it a bit more of a texture. So really all I'm doing is giving the whole thing a bit of a hard coat seal. It gives more texture to paint later this evening when it's dry. I'll have the heater in the workshop going all day today. The other thing the coral sand helps to do it with is showing me where I haven't managed to get glue from a sealer point of view, which is kind of handy. So I'm almost tempted to let this glue go off with the sand on it and then Mod Podge over the top of it to seal all of that in. But importantly, styrene gets sealed nicely and I get a decent Decent surface for painting on. Nice rough surface with coral sand means that dry brushing becomes really easy and effective. So bit more sand on that. Leave that for an hour or so to go off. Then I can undercoat it. Actually, then I could stick it down to its base, but here we are. It's literally a case of take a handful of sand, scatter it on, dropping most of the sand, of course, back in the sandbox where it's come from. What I'm trying to do in some cases is avoid too much glue running down, so I don't get runny bits of glue and sand. That'll probably do us. Okay. Let that dry. This then is the backdrop. So now it's all solid, sand on there, give it a good texture. So the next job from this point of view, I've really got to finish painting Krampus. The next job from this point of view now is to spray that black, paint it grey, and then I also need to attach it to, work out where it's going to go in the box. I'll attach it to this bad boy so I can blend in the sand, blend in the base, so it can take this tree just here. It's going to have to come back a little bit more because that's then going to sit at the front there, so that will need sanding around the front there too. I also need to spray the inside. I need to undercoat the inside of the box black, and then crack on with the painting of this. I'm really quite enjoying this because this is nice, simple, but I think it's going to be a really effective book nook. Certainly that's what I'm hoping for. So by the time Krampus is stood on there, I've got a tree in there, partly there, we have another tree that stands in behind him. That's going to make a really nice looking thing. I'm going to get some tiny bits of slate from the garden now to put on there as well, probably down the bottom, and then this needs to sand that. So I think what I'm going to do now, more than anything else, is try and fit it into the box, and then work out, and then take it out, draw on here with a Sharpie where this needs to go, and glue the bottom, glue the back to the base, because then I can sand it, and then I can work out where everything's going to go. The problem is the tree's already in there and white, so I want to be able to attach that last, so that just needs to be kind of smooth here, but obviously that one as well. Okay, here we are then. This is the rock face, all black, or mostly black. I'm now going to paint this big time. I paint this, and here's the box. I run out of spray. I do want to kind of cover this in pleather, but for the moment I'm going to paint the outside of this as well. And the inside, it's 11:30 on the 23rd of December. I've got 24 hours to finish this and keep it a secret from my wife. Pretty tricky, but let's keep going and see what happens. Okay, so now we're making progress on the paint job. Big brushes, fortunately, dry brushing nice and easy. If you're new to my videos and you don't know how I go about doing things, I use pretty much exclusively Games Workshop Citadel paints. That's mostly because I like going to the shop and buying them. and I've always used them. Familiar with the colours and everything else. This is so black undercoat, had an Adeptus Mechanicus dry brush on it. Now it's getting a Dawnstone layer, and then I'll finish it off with an Administratum Grey and probably some bleach bone and that kind of thing. It doesn't matter too much. A lot of this is going to end up getting covered in snow, I hope. But you can see how nicely the texture on here works. All that sand is giving it a nice rough surface, which makes it great to paint real quick. One of the reasons why I was pretty confident I was going to be able to get this done in such a short amount of time and only one video. Yeah, we're coming on nice. What's terrific is knowing how this started off as 3 separate pieces of XPS foam, and by the time they're covered in sand, covered in texture and painted, the gap between one and the other just melts away and you just can't see it, which is terrific. Works really, really nicely. I really like that a lot. Yeah, we're really coming together now, looking nice. And now when we start just checking it out and sticking the Krampus model on it, as soon as we start putting the Krampus model on now, it all seems to really take shape really quick. I'm really going to have to finish painting Krampus. Okay, so I stuck the smaller tree in the back, and then I put clump foliage, glued clump foliage with Yoo-hoo solvent based glue onto the model to give a splash of colour. Then, because that way there it will stand out against the red of the cloak of Krampus, and that's all starting to look pretty cool now. Before I had the snow, lost the tree. Where are we? So this tree's going to stand in here, and now we're starting to get a nice collection of colours. That's going to look pretty neat. The greens are going to pop, although by the time hopefully I've covered it in a load of snow, we're not going to see loads and loads of the greens. The snow is the big challenge at the minute, because that's the bit I'm not too sure about. And we're going to kind of work that out in a little while. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick everything in on, if I can get Krampus in and out. Yeah, that's not too bad. We're going to have a go at, I'm going to paint grey around the base of this tree here, stick that on, and then we're going to have a go at putting snow on it and see what happens. Wish me luck. For the big gamble and experiment. I've not really done a lot of this before, snow stuff, so we're going to try it out. This is My Village Snow. I bought this from a local garden centre that do Lemax stuff, but it's quite nice. There's quite a lot of it, and I'm going to apply Mod Podge with PVA glue over most of this, certainly over a lot of the green, more over the trees, over the rocks, and over all the flat surfaces, and then I'm going to sprinkle the heck out of this snow. I'm going to see what it looks like. I'm hoping it doesn't look hideous, because at this point this is looking pretty good and I don't want to screw it up. Right, okay, wish me luck. Right, okay. I have no idea if this is going to have worked. There is a load of snow, neige, on my Book Nook. I now really just have to let it all dry, I suppose, and see what happens. Could be alright. It's quite a lot. Obviously a lot of this is going to come off when I shake it off. It's quite cool because there's quite a lot of green showing through from underneath still, so from that point of view I'm doing several layers, I think. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. And there's going to be some blowing on this as well, of course. That's quite a lot of snow. Well, that's alright, looks okay. There's a big showing through there. Might even have to put some more on some of the green. And of course, Mr. Krampus is going to have a snowy base. How's that look? Well, you know what, kids? That looks all right. Right. I could really do with now is PVA and a spray that I could spray over the whole thing to fix it in place. Or a fixative can of something else. Varnish. Who knows? I think it's... what's time? Official time check-in. Pup date. There's the pup. Actually, that's a little while ago. It is 1 AM on Friday the 24th of December. See that? There you go. 1 AM exactly on Friday the 24th of December. This is going to be unwrapped on Christmas Day. So yeah, I think I need to leave this alone now overnight, let it dry, come back to it tomorrow. I might have a bit more of a crack at painting some more of Krampus. Might need more snow on it tomorrow. We shall see, we shall see. Well, it's looking like the snow kind of worked. I think you could do with some more. But not bad. I've applied more paints to Krampus now as well. And there he is, which is pretty neat. So it's now, quick time check, hang on a minute, last time we looked it was late, now it's 02:07 on Christmas Eve, and time for bed. So I'm going to let all that dry off, and then I'm probably going to apply another load of snow tomorrow, and then try and get it in the box and work out how the lighting is going to work. But it's pretty cool. I quite like it. So yeah, not so bad. Some of my paint choices, colour choices on Krampus have been deliberately done so they'll actually stand out on the model. Really, it should all be a lot drabber than that, but you know, it's pretty cool. So it works quite well, I think, with all the white snow on the trees and stuff. So right, it really now needs the whole model to be assembled. Maybe some more spray fixative applied and more snow put on, but we'll check that out in the morning. How the hell I'm going to squeeze this all into Christmas Eve, I don't know, but we'll see how we go. I've gone with a second layer of snow, which makes it more snowy, which is quite nice. There's Krampus there. I've snowed his base up, and now I'm going to work on the box. Here's the box, a nice dark green. I would have quite liked to have had a kind of pleather cover, green, dark green leather cover on the outside of the box. Time is totally not allowed for that, so I'm just going for this. So I'm using these two lights. I'm going to get black tape because it's going on the roof. Going to tape all the cable in right across the back there, and I have a blue light at the front on either side shining down onto it. It's experimental and it's going to be done this way to give the present, but I might change my mind and add white light instead of blue light. The blue might be too much, but I need to get it done because now the time is 13:14 on Christmas Eve. No pressure. Here we have Krampus in place. Snow, blue light, under the moonlight. I'm pretty pleased with this. It's a really simple build compared to many that I've done in this last year. Not surprisingly, it's only taken me 48 hours to do. But I'm pretty sure that my wife will be really pleased with this. It's a straightforward book nook. I need to add some more detail when I get some time. I want to put a title up here, Krampus, and I'd love to actually cover it in the leather to make it look more booky, to sit nicely on a bookshelf. But actually to get the diorama made, the figure painted, the lighting in and everything in place like that in that amount of time, I'm really, really pleased. I was kind of worried that the blue light would swamp everything else, and I am still possibly going to mess around with it and maybe add white instead of blue light, but I like the blue light because it gives it that kind of like moonlit kind of feel, which is pretty cool. We've still got enough colour there with the red of his coat and the green that we can see coming through from the fir trees, and then the blues in the spell that he's casting at the same time. So it's pretty neat. hasn't been a very expensive build. This has mostly been stuff that I had lying around, apart from the trees, which I had bought. But everything else I had stashed in different boxes anyway. So it's been a pretty effective and efficient way to go about making this model. I'm really, really happy with this. So here it is. This is the final finished Book Nook. Krampus for my wife. Yeah, there are definitely bits that I would like to come back and titivate. It needs titles, it needs a cover on the outside, to be honest, but the mission was to get the figure in the snow, in the box, with the moonlight in 48 hours, which I've kind of done, so I'm really, really pleased with that. So, if you've enjoyed this video, and this is the first of my videos you've watched, or you've only watched a couple because you only watch Book Nooks, then make sure you click subscribe down below, because there will be more Book Nooks in the new year. If this is just one of many of my videos you've watched in 2022, thank you so much for watching. I can't believe that I've got to the end of this year. I've had so many people watch so many videos, say so many nice things about what I do. It's been absolutely brilliant. This is definitely my last build video of 2021. There won't be another one before New Year. No way, no how. I haven't got the time. There is the Patreon announcement as to who's won the Patreon competition. There's some big news in that, but that's on another video. So thank you very much for watching Magrathea Builder of Worlds in 2021. I hope you've enjoyed my content, and even when I've had to reduce the amount of videos I'm making because the actual work has got in the way, I've still had so many positive responses and people watching. If you've joined my Patreon this year and supported this channel through Patreon, then that is just quite extraordinary. Thank you so much. If you'd like to join my Patreon, it's here, www.patreon.com/MagratheaBuilderWorlds. Otherwise, if you like this video, you like this model, do please leave comments down below, give it a like, give it a share, do all that kind of stuff. Wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and prosperous 2022. I'll be back in the new year with all kinds of builds. Keep watching, keep safe, get vaccinated, wear a mask. Let's kick this COVID thing into history. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. I don't know how I'm going to wrap this bloody thing up, mind you. That's going to cause me a few problems. Yeah. Answers on a postcard too. Oh, we'll have to see how we go, really. Never mind. First world problems, eh? Still, it's pretty good, isn't it?